Hello and welcome to today's video. So today I'm just going to have a quick look at drawing pens, what pens I use for inking currently, and I've just bought some, I wouldn't say they're expensive, but slightly more expensive pens. So I'm just going to have a quick rundown, looking at what I've been using up until now, and then looking at these new ones. I will then, as you can see, I've done a rough sketch here, very rough. But I'm going to ink each part of this with different sets of pens to see what effect it gets and how it looks. Obviously going from my basic cheap ones I've got at the moment to the more expensive ones, and then a different type of pen for this one. Okay, so first up is these pens. Now I'm not sure you're going to be able to see them that well with this light. STA pigment liner. These are dirt cheap. Now these cost me £8.98 for a 10 pack, so less than £1 a pen. They had varying sizes from 0.05 to then 0.1 and then all the way up to this 0.8. It then also has two brush pens, which I don't generally use because I find cheap brush pens not very good, and to be honest I've never got on with them, so I don't bother. So far they've done alright. They do rub out quite easily, so when I've inked a drawing and then I go over it with an eraser, these fade quite bad. So when I scan it, the line art is not as dark as I'd like it. Okay, so that's the first set, but they're cheap as chips. Oh, the other problem is you get obviously two brush pens, one 0.05. 0.05 is the one I'm going to use the most for the detail and things like that, and it seems to be running out a bit at the moment. So I bought these mid-January this year, so approximately, you know, a fortnight, and the 0.05, the pen I'm used the most, feels like it's running out. Okay, so on to the next set. Obviously, if you watch my previous videos, you know with these cheap pens I then use a Sharpie to save the ink of the cheap pens, and these are good for shadows, big black areas. They were only, what were they, £2.28 for a pair, so they're very cheap, £1 something each. They're not too bad. I get all of these off Amazon, so I will share the links below for each set. Right, next up is one of my new sets. Now these are the Pigma microns. Now there are only 6 fine liners in here, but there are, if you look at the sizes, you can see they're the ones I use. So the 0.05 obviously important to me, and then I like the 0.8s, and I like the 0.3s. Basically these for the thicker lines, this for the detail. So I'm looking forward to trying these and see how they get on. They were £9.97 for the pack of 6, so these are working out roughly, math's not going to be off here, what, £1.20 each I suppose, so a bit more expensive than the cheap ones, but they're still not overly expensive. Right, so the most expensive pen is this one. So this, I'm trying this on a whim. I've never used a proper brush pen before. I don't tend to get on with them when I've used them with cheap ones, but I want to see how this looks. So you're probably going to see some interesting use of line thickness with this from me, because I am not used to this. I usually artificially add it with the flat pens, but we'll give this a go and see how this goes. This is the most expensive at £8.56 just for a single pen, but you do get 2 refills, and obviously you can buy more refills, so this pen will last a while, hopefully. We'll see how the nib holds up, whether it's going to be losing fibres or anything like that. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to go ahead and open these, and then I'm going to start inking this drawing. Alright, pens are all open. So first of all, I'm going to use the cheap pens, and I'm going to use them on Spidey over here. So we'll see how the cheap pens get on with this, and I'm going to do this pretty quick because I know you don't want to be watching a massive long tutorial to get the effects and see what the pens look like. So away we go. Okay, so that's a quick Spider-Man. It's a very quick Spider-Man. Okay. Yeah, those pens, they're okay. I mean, for a very quick drawing, that looks okay. Proportions and things are off. That's just my sketching. I did the sketch very quickly, just for this demonstration purposes. But generally, for that money, they're okay. I think the quality of the paper is probably more important. As I mentioned earlier, though, when I rub this out, this will lose a lot of the blackness of these lines, so it won't be like a clean line art. Now, what I'm hoping to see is if, when I rub this out on Captain America with the more expensive pens, will it leave the lines nice and black? Because then my scans will be a lot better. So we'll have a quick go at Captain America next with the Pigma microns. Right, so straight off the bat, these pens feel a lot better made than these other pigment liners. They feel like proper drawing pens. So I know it doesn't mean anything if they don't actually draw any different, but they do feel nicer. I mean, they look nicer. Okay, so we're going to give this a go. First, I'm going to go with the 08. We'll have a look at doing the thickness on the outside to start with. I probably will back it up with a Sharpie afterwards. But just for now, I'm just going to start. So again, go in very quickly. That's Captain America. I'll be honest, I think he looks better than Spider-Man. I think the pen lines are nicer. I don't think I spent more time on him, but I probably did. So that's a very quick Captain America. That's the more expensive pens. I do prefer them, if I'm honest. They do feel nicer. Only time will tell if that's just a placebo effect, because I know they're more expensive and they're better pens, or supposedly better pens. But at the moment, I do prefer them. They weren't that much more to warrant buying the cheap ones. The only good thing about the cheap ones is, like when I had that heart attack where I thought I'd wrecked the 0.05 nib already, I have less of a concern when I do that on the cheap ones. So overall, I think they're better, but I think these are okay for disposable, quick sketching, that kind of thing. Right, anyway, on to the specialist pen. Now we'll all have a laugh at this as I try to produce proper ink lines using this pen. Now the packet for this pen, it's I forgot to name it earlier, it's the Pocket Brush Pen. Okay, so it's quite a small pen. It's the size of other pens, I suppose. It's not overly small. I maybe just made that up. But the packet says ideal for manga and cartoons. Ah, well, that's what I draw. It has a little line art picture, which looks very nice, with the varying line thicknesses. So we're going to give this a go. The most expensive pen here by far, but it should do all the work of the other pens. I should be able to do the very small detail, and I should be able to do the very large detail, and the shadows even. So we'll give this a go. Wish me luck, and we'll see how we get on. Alright, so I've put the cartridge in, and the nib has now gone black. When I first opened this up, the nib was still white to show it hadn't been used. And we'll see. Well, first of all, it's not doing anything, so maybe I need to, I don't know. I do know the tip of it looks like it's got rubbish on it. See if we get the pen ink flowing first. There's probably people that use this pen calling me all sorts of things at the moment because I don't have a clue what I'm doing, but that looks a bit, doesn't look very clean, but we'll have a go. So I think as I've never been taught, but I think what you're meant to do is obviously the thick lines more where the shadow would be. So like how I go around with the Sharpie, that should be the thick lines with this pen. Now I have inked with a brush when I was 15, so we're looking at 21 years ago, and I haven't done it since, so you'll have to forgive me for my terrible work here. Also, if I was going to do a straight lines with a ruler, I don't know if I can actually do it with this. I think that would be a limitation, definitely. Not sure my hand's stable enough to use this tool. It's going to take me a bit of work to get used to this. Yeah, my lines are so wobbly because you've got to keep that perfect distance from the paper for the nib. Terrible. Okay, how do people draw manga with this? Poor attempt to try to cross hatch with this thing. Yeah, it's not right. There's definitely the line thickness difference though, you can see. And what I'll do at the end of this video, I will scan this and upload it so you can actually see it better quality than just my picture. Okay. Right, I think that's all I dare do with that brush on him. I've tried to do some shading here and it looks terrible. The jury's out on that for me. I'm not going to just poo-poo it because I know a lot of people praise this and say this is a good pen, and people that use it can use it well. I personally cannot use it yet, so I am going to have to practice, because at the moment that is by far the worst out of all three. When this is the one that's made for this kind of thing. Okay, so what I'll do is I will scan this image and I will upload it and we'll have a look so we can see it in better detail. Okay, so here we are with my scan. I've just done it in 300 DPI for now. The keen-eyed members of you there will notice that poor old Ironman's had even more misfortune. I don't know if I didn't leave it long enough to dry or what's happened there, but when I went to rub it out, it smeared and all the lines have gone like a grey. So that pen has really lost out in this trial. Again, if there's any experts watching that know what I'm doing wrong with this pen, by all means shout at me in the comments and tell me. I'm willing to give this another go. I mean, I had high hopes for this pen. I was really looking forward to using it, but I just haven't been able to get any of the effect that I thought I was going to get from it. Now the other two have held up remarkably well. Spider-Man's a bit faded, as I probably mentioned before. The inks do tend to fade on this pen when it's rubbed with a razor. Captain America's have stayed darker, so I think they've held up a lot better, and hence the price point. I think the difference is that is one of them. The ink is better. Okay, so I haven't done anything to this yet, so I would obviously do some a few steps that, you know, to improve some line art. So I'll go ahead and do that now, just quickly, and I'm not going to go through that because this isn't a tutorial on line art, it's just a demonstration of these pens. So let's go through that quickly. Okay, so I've just quickly gone through a few processes there to clean up the line art. By all means, it's not the best probably procedure to clean line art, but that's how I do it. And these, even Iron Man doesn't look too bad, but obviously compared to the other two, he's very sketchy around the head and that. I mean, losing these kind of like lines that you can change thickness is a small price to pay if I can't get the quality on this as good as, say, this Captain America. So it's something to look into. I mean, I'm going to persevere with the pen, and I'm going to see what I can do to improve it, improve my technique. Sorry, but at the moment, I couldn't recommend that to anyone unless they really know what they're doing. So I'm just having a quick play with the colours now to see what they look like with the colours underneath. So let's do it really quick. So Spider-Man actually looks, he always does, as soon as you colour him he looks 10 times better. Up there. But yeah, as you can see, the line art looks okay over Spider-Man. And we'll have a look at Captain America, shall we? And see what he looks like. Put a good blue for Captain America. Why is that not? Oh. I'm not on pen, am I? Yeah, so his looks even better with a colour background. Yeah, so my final result on this is these cheap pens are fine, especially if you're worried, you know, about using them up or just, you know, breaking them or generally overused. They're fine. You know, the effect you get from those is fine. My recommendation though would be, if you can plumb the extra money, do get these, especially if you're going to be rubbing out and scanning, because these have gone, I think they've gone a lot clearer. I cannot recommend this pocket brush pen. It's expensive, and I can't get the effect of it. I'm not saying it's no good, I'm just saying I can't figure out how to do this. I mean, not in the first go anyway, but what I'll do is I'll give more goes, and if something changes, I will upload a new video and I will show how I figured out how to use it. Okay, so there's the review. Thank you very much. And if you liked the video and you want to see some more, please subscribe. And if you have any comments down below, just whack them in there. Cheers.